Hey everyone, welcome back. So today I wanted to walk you through my weekly review process. So to get started, we will flip to my reference section where I have my weekly review. The first thing I usually do is I sync my monthly calendar. So that's in a couple of places. One is here where it lives on paper. I also have it on my phone. If you've watched my videos before, you know that I use a program called Fantastical, and that's where if I'm out and about, sometimes it's easier just to add these onto my calendar electronically. It's also where all my recurring stuff lives as well. Now, the thing I've found that's a little interesting, maybe not the right word, but challenging, is going back and forth very regularly between two time zones. This has become not a problem for me, but I have to really stop and think about when things are actually happening, because I have to stop and remember, is it something that's happening at Pacific time or Central time? And make sure that I'm putting the right time zone in my calendar. So I don't know if any of you do a lot of traveling between time zones. If you have any tips, it really throws me off sometimes trying to do the translation in my head to what time it is or what time I'm scheduling something when I'm trying to schedule something when I'm going to be in the other location. So usually I'm updating this page, and when I'm doing my weekly review, I'm also looking forward to the following week and then just making sure I've got the rest of the week updated, which I think I do. I have a call here. I have a budget meeting that I need to add actually on this calendar, because the nice thing about my electronic calendar is it knows what day it is and what time, and it will remind me. So let me put that in my phone really quick. And if you heard that in the background, I actually think that's my husband's iPad. I need to find it and put it on silent because it's been making a lot of noise. All right, and I think I might have, this is the other reason I prefer to do this on my computer. Yep, I put it on the wrong day. Let's try that again. Having issues. There we go. Now it's on the right day. And I actually am more of a visual than a list person, so I like having it this way. Let's see. So coming up on Monday is the monthly momentum planner call. So actually we'll be here and not super busy for that. So definitely I'll put that in. And so this is where it gets challenging. I need to look at the actual flight time for Tuesday before I write it in, because otherwise I could put it down at the wrong time. So Wednesday is going to be busy. It's my first day back in the office. Thursday is good. Friday is good. Saturday is good. Actually, I have a post-it note here. This is something I'm gonna have to look up in email. So I'll just make this a to-do. Put that on a today note here. Okay. So everything should be good through the end of next week. So that's my monthly calendar synced. Reviewing goals, roles, and values, and determining important projects and tasks for the week. So I do keep my values and my goals here in the front of my reference section. So I have my values and kind of some detail about what they mean to me, and then my goals. And coming up, I need to keep working on the manuals that I've been working on, and I've had a few bits and pieces that I need to wrap up as far as lease renewals. So I gave everybody a deadline of the 15th, which means that on the 16th, I need to, it's really hard to write at this angle, by the by. Check for unrenewed leases. So that will be on the list for the 16th. Other things that I have going on as far as goals, I'm still working on manuals. I have some other things written down for a project I need to work on as far as pay stuff goes. So that should be pretty much it. Now we are still on Wednesday, but I will go ahead and start filling out my compass card for next week. So I do just kind of keep these tucked in the back so I can grab them easily. So this is for the week of October 14th. So I'll bring this into frame a little bit. So usually what I do on these compass cards is, well, for the most part, my first section up at the top doesn't really change. So what changes is the section down below. So usually what I'm filling in here are the different roles that I have and kind of what's going on in each of them for that week. So for the Rental Housing Association, I have a budget committee meeting and a board meeting. And I have a project that I need to work on for NAA. That's the National Apartment Association. If I'm not mistaken, double check. Yep, I have a conference call. In a little less than a month, we have one of our national meetings, and so there's a lot of committee meeting prep work stuff that's going on ahead of time because there are some things that need to be approved at that meeting, and so you have to get things approved at the committee level before the board can approve them. So yeah, there's a lot of hurry up and wait going on right now, which is kind of funny. And the things that I put under each one, they're both appointments and also to-dos. It's just kind of a reminder of like the big things going on in each of those sections for the week. And usually I'll go through and kind of check these off, or at least just mark through. And if I don't have anything major going on in that role, I generally don't put anything in that week. So things may be there and then they make an appearance the following month or the following week, and then they might disappear for a little bit. It just depends on what I have going on. So I've done my weekly compass card. So adding weekly schedule and day specific tasks. Usually I put most tasks in the day before. If it's something big I know I have going on, I will go ahead sometimes and put it in. Like I'm pretty sure, let me check. Yep. So I actually need to do payroll like right when I get in back home again. So if I know it's something I have to do on a specific day, then I'll go ahead and put it in at the beginning of the week. Otherwise, I'll usually put it in like the night before. I look and kind of based on what's going on at that time, that's when I'll add stuff in. I've done that. Review last week and migrate unfinished tasks. I did already flip through and double check that everything's been completed, so I don't really have to worry about that. Check master task list and project lists and add important tasks for the week. This is when I'm kind of figuring out what things I have to do. So I do have two different to-do sections. If you watched my last planner update video, you'll have seen these. I have one tab, which is for work, which I'm not going to show because I have things that are private information in there, and then I have a home section. So I can show you my home section. In my work section, I have a sticky note like this. This one says to buy, so this is kind of like a random things I need to purchase list. And on the work one, it says to do, and it's a list of things that I can do remotely. So when I'm putting things on my to-do list, if it's something that doesn't need to be done right away and I don't have to be in the office to do it, I usually put it down there. So that way I have it, so I'm not constantly flipping through everything I have to do, just to look for the things that I can do while I'm here. So the first page in each of these two sections is just a list of random one-off tasks that need to be done. And then the following pages are basically a page per project. So I have a page for Christmas. Essentially right now it's just a brain dump of things that I want to remember or things that I need to think about doing. And then I have a section for decluttering / moving. We're not moving anytime soon, and who knows if we actually are, but our house is full of stuff, and if we're going to be moving, I would like to get started on that sooner rather than later. So that's the idea behind having a page for that. As you can see, it's empty. I haven't started putting anything down on it. I do each time, like every week or month, kind of make a short list of things that I want to declutter as part of my power sheets. So usually I'll find it there rather than in here, but as I kind of get a little more intentional about it, I will probably start to add it here as well. Okay, back to the list. I don't really have a waiting for list. That actually, I have a folder of things that I'm kind of waiting on. It's, you know, like project support, but that lives at the office and I don't have it with me, so I'm not going to review it. But usually I will kind of look through that about once a week while I'm at work. Make a list of what has your attention. I've been doing that pretty much as I go. I've added the one thing here that I just remembered. I've added a couple of other things into my to-do list, but I don't really have anything that's grabbed onto my attention right now. Add tasks to week. Usually it's like taking all of this into account. Is there anything else I need to add in? Usually that's from the master to-do list. Empty loose papers from planner and review for outstanding tasks. I've kind of already done that. I had one loose piece of paper in here that was kind of crinkled at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that because Emma grabbed it off my side table and was running around the house with it last week. And I wanted to make sure that I held on to it. So it's essentially just sermon notes and things I wanted to remember. So when I got it from her, I thought, you know, I'm gonna tuck that in my planner because I had copied them down onto a notes page. But because my planner, I have so much in it and it's so thick, I couldn't keep that planner notes page in here. So it's just easier to tuck that in the back there. All right, empty, loose papers, we did that. Review and process planner notes and other sections. I will probably off camera go through my work to do section because as you can see, I do have a few pieces of paper kind of tucked in here. And then I will actually add those to the correct page. Clean out inboxes and action email folders. This is something I do more when I'm at home. Obviously, I'm not gonna be able to clean out my paper inbox since I'm 2 states away. And I just need to schedule time to clean out my personal email. And actually, maybe I will put that on my to-do list here. Actually, no, I think it is actually already on here. So I've had that thought before. But things are just so busy and I seem to be getting a lot more email from things I don't remember signing up for. So I've been trying to unsubscribe from them when I remember, but sometimes it's easier just to delete them out. Determine and schedule meals and meal prep for the week. That is actually pretty easy right now because I'm following that AAY, All About You nutrition plan, which I mentioned in the last few videos. So they send me what I'm eating for the week and a shopping list and meal prep to-dos. So I just basically look for things I can't or won't eat. Namely, I can't eat avocado and I won't eat raw tomatoes. So I'll cross those out. Sometimes I'll make some substitutions depending on what they're using the avocado for. And then I just kind of go from there. So it doesn't take a lot of extra prep work, but I don't get those till Thursday. So I will get that tomorrow. Weekly routine and house cleaning tasks to weekly pages. I actually probably should move that to my daily review. I'm gonna make myself a note. Because usually I put that stuff on the night before. So I'm not pre-planning my week as much as I used to. And that's just because I was finding that, I don't know, things are not as set in stone as they used to be, and so I'm having to be a little more flexible. And so yeah, usually unless I have to do something that day, I'm not putting it on until the night before when I'm trying to figure out what I have time to do based on the appointments that I have and the things that I know I have to do that day. So sometimes I have a very clear day and I can just knock a bunch of random stuff out, and other days it's just packed and I fit in a few small things and that's it. Plan fitness, study schedule, and outfits for the week. So I'm not really doing a Bible study where I have to plan out a schedule. I'm actually doing a Write the Word from Cultivate Which Matters, which is the group that does the power sheets. So I just open it up and I write the verse that they give me. So that one's pretty easy. Fitness, I'm dancing mostly, and I actually already wrote that in for next week. That's most of the fitness that I'm doing right now. I'm not actually, going to the gym and working out or even working out at home so much. It's just mostly trying to dance as much as I can because it's not only good for me physically, but that's also kind of, music feeds my soul. And so dancing is really hate to say therapeutic, but I guess that's a good word. It's a big stress relief for me. As far as outfits for the week go, I usually use an app called Cladwell. I've talked with it before. Right now my closet is set for what I have here in Texas, so when I get home next week, I'll usually plan 1 or 2 days like ad hoc, like just figure it out that day, and then I'll kind of plan out the rest of the day. So I will deal with that. As far as business income and expenses go, I will show you where I keep that. And that is actually here in my, should need to move this, kind of my Kendra Bork planner, I guess. It's where I keep all of my Etsy stuff and everything. So where I write this down is I get the notification for Etsy on Mondays. So that's usually where I will write down the amount that they say that they're going to be transferring on Tuesdays. And then YouTube comes out on the 21st if I've earned anything that month. So usually whenever I get that email notification, I'll write it in on that day as well. So that's kind of where I keep track of my business income. And if I think somewhere back here, there's budget information. So at some point, I want to try and get myself in the habit of transferring it over to actual pages. So I may go through and create my own, just because this is more, looks like it's for household stuff, and I don't have that many items that, as far as expenses go, that fit in with those categories. So I'll probably create my own inserts for that at some point and then just tally everything up. Right now, most of the time, I'm just putting it into a spreadsheet at the end of the year so I can turn it over to the tax person with all the other stuff that I have. So that's where my business income and expenses lives. And then as far as the family calendar goes, I don't actually have one at the moment since Gary's out of state. So that's one less thing I have to worry about. But I keep it on there because when he is in town and we're in the same household, that's when I usually keep something where he knows where I'm going to be. So if I don't show up when he expects me to, that's the first place he can look. So anyway, that's how I do my weekly review. I'm hoping that was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. If you have any suggestions on how to deal with this whole 2 time zone thing, I welcome them with open arms, because maybe it's just something I have to get used to. I don't know. I use Google Calendar if that helps anybody with suggestions. I could not find a way to make something independent of a time zone. I do have some things that I do at the same time, no matter what time zone I'm in. Like, I usually eat lunch at 12:30. So I'd rather have that at 12:30, no matter where I am. But yeah, I tried taking the time zone out in Google, and it just basically defaulted to whatever time zone I was in. So I set it back to Pacific time, because that's normally where I am, where I need to be a little more structured. But yeah, I get reminded to eat lunch at 2:30. So I don't know. Open to suggestion. But if you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye.